Life on the American frontier was brutal, unpredictable, and full of secrets that history books often leave out. Early settlers didn't just survive, they innovated in ways that will blow your mind. Stick around, because today we're diving into 20 shocking secrets about early American pioneers that you've probably never heard before. Number 20. Settlers used corn for almost everything. Corn wasn't just food, it was a survival tool. Sure, they made bread, porridge, and even beer from it, but that's just the start. Corn husks became mattresses, dolls, and even home insulation. The cobs? Those weren't wasted either. They doubled as scrub brushes and even early toilet paper. Yep, frontier life wasn't glamorous, but it was resourceful. Number 19. Women pioneers had more rights than you think. Think women on the frontier were just cooking and cleaning? Think again. Unlike their European counterparts, many pioneer women owned land, filed lawsuits, and even voted in certain territories, long before the suffrage movement. Out in the wilderness, survival didn't care about gender. If you could work, you had power. Number 18. Settlers used madstone to cure rabies. Before vaccines, rabies was a death sentence. But settlers believed they had a cure, the madstone. This strange rock taken from deer stomachs was pressed against wounds to supposedly draw out the poison. Did it work? Science says no, but pioneers swore by it, using madstones for generations before modern medicine took over. Number 17. The mystery of the Appalachian Melungeons. Deep in the Appalachian Mountains lived a mysterious people known as the Melungeons, and no one knew where they came from. They didn't look European, African, or indigenous, yet their olive skin and dark hair puzzled settlers. Were they descendants of shipwrecked Spanish explorers? Survivors of the lost Roanoke colony? DNA tests now suggest they were a mix of multiple backgrounds, making them one of America's earliest multicultural communities. Number 16. The frontier coffin was designed for reuse. On the frontier, wood was scarce, so even coffins had to be recycled. Families built special reusable coffins with a trapdoor bottom, so after a burial, they could keep using the same coffin for future funerals. Creepy? Definitely. But when supplies were low, settlers had to be practical. Number 15. The mysterious moon-eyed people of Cherokee legend. Before European settlers arrived, the Cherokee spoke of a strange race of pale-skinned, blue-eyed people who could only see at night. They called them the moon-eyed people and claimed they lived deep in the Appalachian Mountains. Some believe this legend hints at an ancient lost civilization, while others think it could be proof of early European explorers arriving centuries before Columbus. Either way, it's a mystery that still baffles historians today. Number 14. Pioneers used witch bottles to ward off evil life on the frontier was terrifying, and not just because of wild animals. Many settlers feared witches and evil spirits lurking in the woods. Their solution? Witch bottles. These strange charms were filled with nails, hair, and sometimes even urine, then buried near homes to trap dark forces. Believe it or not, archaeologists still find these bottles in old colonial ruins, proving just how real these fears were. Number 13. Some log cabins had secret escape tunnels. Life on the frontier was dangerous, and being prepared was the only way to survive. Some settlers built hidden tunnels beneath their cabins, leading to nearby forests or caves. These secret passageways became lifesavers during raids or attacks. While many have collapsed over time, archaeologists have found several hidden tunnels, confirming that settlers took survival very, very seriously. Number 12. Coffin births. Shocked many settlers, one of the most horrifying and misunderstood events on the frontier was the phenomenon of coffin births. Due to gases that built up after death, pregnant women who passed away sometimes gave birth after burial. When settlers exhumed bodies and found tiny skeletons outside their mothers' remains, they were horrified. Not understanding the science, they believed it was a supernatural event, fueling terrifying ghost stories about haunted cemeteries. Number 11. The strange case of the Devil's Footprints. In 1855, people in Devon, England, woke up to a horrifying sight. A trail of hoof-like footprints stretching over 100 miles, crossing through walls, rivers, and even rooftops. While this event didn't happen in America, similar reports popped up on the frontier. Settlers believed these tracks were made by demons, ghosts, or even unknown creatures. Scientists today suggest it may have been hopping animals or melting snow, but to early Americans it was proof of something otherworldly. Number 10. Frontier doctors used whiskey as anesthesia. Imagine needing surgery with no painkillers. That was reality on the frontier, where whiskey was the go-to anesthetic. Before amputations or major procedures, patients were given large amounts to drink, not to enjoy, but to numb the pain. Doctors even used whiskey as a disinfectant, since medical supplies were scarce. It wasn't ideal, but when it came to survival, a bottle of strong liquor was better than nothing. Number 9. Mail was delivered by young orphans on the Pony Express. The Pony Express is legendary, but did you know its riders were mostly teenagers, many of them orphans? These fearless young men rode 100+ miles a day, braving brutal weather, bandits, and Native American attacks to deliver the mail faster than ever before. The job was so dangerous that every rider was given a Bible and a pistol upon hiring. Though the Pony Express only lasted 18 months before the telegraph replaced it, its riders became legends of the Wild West. Number 8. Settlers believed comets were harbingers of doom. Today, we see comets as beautiful celestial events, but to early settlers they were terrifying omens of disaster. Many believe that comets signaled wars, plagues, or the end of the world. When Halley's Comet appeared in 1910, newspapers falsely claimed its tail contained deadly gases that could poison the Earth. Panic spread, with some settlers sealing their homes shut or buying comet pills to protect themselves. Spoiler alert, they survived. Number 7. Ringing rocks made mysterious bell sounds. In some parts of early America, settlers discovered bizarre rock formations that rang like metal when struck. These ringing rocks left pioneers speechless, with some believing they had magical properties or were messages from the heavens. Scientists later discovered that their unique mineral composition caused them to vibrate and produce sound. You can still find these mysterious formations in places like Pennsylvania, where visitors continue to be amazed by their eerie bell-like tones. Number 6. Some settlers were buried with bells to avoid premature burial. One of the greatest fears on the frontier was being buried alive. Medical science was primitive, and doctors sometimes wrongly declared people dead. To prevent a nightmare scenario, some settlers were buried in safety coffins, equipped with a string attached to a bell above ground. If the person woke up, they could ring the bell for help. While there's no proof this ever saved anyone, it proves how real and terrifying the fear of premature burial was. Number 5. Some pioneers used glass coffins to prevent grave robbery. Grave robbing was a huge problem on the frontier, especially because medical schools paid good money for fresh corpses. To protect their loved ones, some families buried them in glass-topped coffins or covered graves with iron cages called mort safes. The glass allowed mourners to check that the body was still there, while the heavy cages kept thieves from digging up the remains. Creepy? Absolutely. But in a time when even the dead weren't safe, it was a necessary precaution. Number 4. Settlers used spider webs as bandages. With no access to modern medicine, pioneers had to get creative. One of their strangest remedies? Spider webs. They believed webs helped stop bleeding and prevent infection, and shockingly, science later confirmed this. Spider silk contains natural antiseptic properties, making it an unexpectedly effective wound dressing. Who knew that something as simple as a web could help save lives? Number 3. Some towns vanished without a trace. Throughout American history, entire settlements have mysteriously disappeared. One eerie case is the town of Herkimer, Iowa, which reportedly had settlers, homes, and businesses. Then, suddenly, it was just gone. No official records explain what happened. Some believe disease, economic collapse, or migration played a role, while others think these ghost towns are proof of something more supernatural. Number 2. Settlers told stories of giant skeletons. Frontier newspapers often reported massive human skeletons found in ancient burial mounds. Some settlers claimed they had unearthed giant bones belonging to people over 10 feet tall. While many of these reports were exaggerated or just misidentified animal bones, they fueled legends about a prehistoric race of giants. Even today, some conspiracy theorists believe there's a hidden truth to these stories. Number 1. Mysterious lights in the sky. Confused settlers. Long before UFOs became a hot topic, pioneers reported strange lights moving in the night sky. These glowing orbs, called spook lights or ghost lights, appeared in remote areas with no explanation. Native American legends described them as spirits, while some settlers thought they were signs from God, or something far more sinister. Today, scientists suggest they may be caused by natural gases or atmospheric conditions, but for early Americans, they were just another unexplained mystery in the vast, untamed wilderness. And that wraps up our list of 20 shocking secrets from early American settlers. If you loved uncovering these hidden stories, hit that subscribe button for more history mysteries. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next adventure.